ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
What did you get?
I knew it. I knew it. I knew it.
What did I get? What is it?
So on December 20th, we decided to tell my parents, which is in the last video you see me telling my parents, and my dad said he already knew. And I want to say it was, how long after?
Around 9 p.m.
No, I'm saying like how long after we told them.
Oh, just a few hours.
Yeah, it was like maybe an hour or so after we told them. To me, I feel like it was literally right after, because I feel like everything happened so fast. But I went to go use the bathroom, and I mean, like, the lightest shade of pink is what I saw, and I just remember being so scared. I think I went into the pregnancy already kind of scared, because I've seen my mom go through 3 miscarriages, and it kind of just made me on the edge of my seat pretty much the entire time. And so when I did see pink, I was like, I have to go to the hospital, like there's something wrong. And like instantly, like I already felt different. So we did decide to go to the emergency room, and we were there.
Horrible.
Yeah, we were there for
A long time.
a really long time. I think by the time we got there, it was like midnight,
It was before.
or it was
midnight.
like 11 o'clock or something like that, but it was close to midnight, and we didn't come back home till like 8 o'clock in the morning, I think, or something like that.
Yes, I fell asleep around 8, so I think we got there around 7.
Yeah. And so basically the entire time we were in the emergency room, there was really not much that they could do besides kind of just wait for me to have my labs come back and wait to get an ultrasound. And I mean, Derek had a lot of a different experience than I did, because you weren't even allowed in the room with me for like the longest time.
Yeah, I was sitting by myself for probably more than half of the time we were there. I was by myself, just sitting there.
Yeah.
In the ER room. And so I think it was just, I don't know, it was very hard, because you know that it's happening to her and she's in pain, and you're not in physical pain, but you're still in pain. But because you're not in physical pain, it's you feel as if you need to suppress it so that you can be there for her, because she's crying for 2 reasons. You know, it affects you, but you don't physically feel it. And so you're trying to be there and support her while she's hurting and bleeding, and you know, just things are just happening inside of her that she can't explain. And then it's also emotionally draining. So it's like with every bit of the baby that comes out, so does the emotions and all that stuff come out with it. And so it was just, it's hard, because you almost can't, you know, deal with it while it's happening.
Yeah.
Because if you do, you know, you almost, not to say you can't, but if like I would have probably felt selfish. And I know it's not the best or the right, I'm not saying anything's right or wrong, but I know that if I would have, you know, been there and, you know, cried as much as she did, or, you know, said a lot of the things that she said, which I'm not saying anything she said was wrong, she was just very emotional and sad. if I would have agreed with those things and not tried to encourage her and be there, I don't know how she would have come out of it, you know, and she could have been stuck there. And so it's just very different, and you can kind of see how roles are different in marriage. You know, you have to complement each other, and so sometimes when they're strong, you're weak, and when you're weak, they're strong. And so you kind of just had to be there for her in that moment. You know, you can't react emotionally right then just because you needed to support, pray, and just hug her right then, because you just, and I mean, it's really hard because you're just sitting in that waiting room, just texting. That's all I could do, is just sit there and text. And so I'm just sitting there on my phone, just looking at nothing, talking to no one for 6 hours basically. And then anytime she would text, I just immediately respond. You know, you just drop everything you're doing and immediately respond. And I mean, it was hard. That first day was really, really hard.
Yeah, that first day was mostly just all a waiting game until we can get into the ultrasound room. And when we did get into the ultrasound room, we were able to be together.
Yeah, which we weren't supposed to be, and that's so crazy because in New York, because COVID was so crazy during that time, I wasn't even supposed to be in the ER room with her, but they allowed it, and then I wasn't even supposed to go back with her, and they allowed it.
Yeah, I think, shout out to that security guard, because he legit was the reason why you were able to go back there.
Both times.
He was pushing really hard for it, and honestly, like, I couldn't thank him enough. I really feel like he blessed us in ways that, like, he probably didn't even imagine that he ever could.
Yeah.
And so when we got to the ultrasound, you know, they did check, and they were like, well, there's no active bleeding that we can see. But it was just weird because every time I would go to the bathroom, like, I would see the bleeding. And so for them to say, like, they didn't see it just almost made me feel paranoid, or as, like, I was just imagining things that weren't there. And that was what was going through my mind of, like, okay, but what if I'm, like, actually not bleeding and I'm just all imagining this because they're saying that they don't see any active bleeding. And then when we did the ultrasound, we were able to see the baby, and we were able to see the baby's heartbeat. We weren't able to hear the baby's heartbeat because it was a little bit of an older machine.
Well, we were able to actually see the baby.
We were able to actually see the baby and able to see the heartbeat. We just weren't able to hear the heartbeat, and we weren't able to have a picture. And so, like, that to me almost is, like, the most traumatic thing about it all, is that, like, we don't have anything besides a memory in our head. Because literally that next day we went right back to the hospital. Because the bleeding did get worse. And then when they did the ultrasound somewhere completely different. And I think when they did that, that's when I knew that things were different this time. And I kind of was just, like, in that paranoid state of, like, checking my labs, because, like, they did this thing where you can check the labs through your phone, like, through their system. And I was trying to, like, check on my labs, like, 24/7, like, okay, this is what it was, like, you know, when I went there yesterday, and I'm waiting for my labs for today. And my labs were lower than the day prior, and so I remember, like, telling you, like, yeah, like, it's over, like, I had a miscarriage, and, like, there's nothing more we can do. And, like, you definitely try to stay strong and try to be like, no, like, you don't know, like, you know, it might just be something else, like, don't put your mind on it too much. And you prayed for me right then and there and try to give me strength. I almost didn't prepare myself for it. You know, I've experienced it with my mom and seeing it, you know, through her, but, like, I didn't physically experience it, almost like your perspective.
Yeah.
And I'm basically in active labor at that point. I'm in excruciating pain, you know, I have things coming out, and it's very hard. And if I really, like, if I didn't have you by my side, like, I really don't know how I would have been able to handle it.
Yeah.
And through prayer and through just, you know, relying on the Spirit to just help us and guide us, that definitely helped a lot. And I feel like God definitely was with us. But it was still, like, really traumatic. So overall it was like a 3-day process. So we went to the hospital on the 20th. We left the morning of the 21st, which was like we were celebrating our anniversary, and we couldn't even think of it because, like, we were thinking of, you know, this traumatic experience the entire time. Like, it didn't even dawn on me until a couple days later of like, wow, like, we didn't even acknowledge it because we were going through so much. We went the night of the 21st, and by the time they told us, it was already like past midnight. So technically it was the 22nd. And yeah, I think overall through this experience, we definitely tried to rely on God and rely on each other. They're gonna hear it. It's fine. That's our dog in the background.
Yeah. Just trying to get him to stop.
Hi, Brownie. You want to be a part of the video? Good boy. Good boy. He wanted to make his appearance.
Yeah.
Yeah, so overall it was, you know, the 20th until the 22nd. And those really were like the longest, like, 3 days of our lives. I felt like it was going by so slow but yet so fast at the same time. I feel like we had everything on the 20th, and then it kind of just got ripped out from underneath us and completely, like, caught by surprise. Yeah, I mean, do you have anything more to add? Or?
I mean, it was just hard. I think you, like, kind of what you were saying. You got your hopes up that night, and then it never got better after that, and then it just kept getting worse and kept getting worse. And I mean, it's very hard because I think as guys, you're fixers, you know, and I wanted to help, and there was nothing. It didn't matter what you made for them, and, like, she didn't have a craving that you could make for them. There wasn't a problem between associates, or I mean, it was nothing fixable.
Yeah, and at that point, I feel like I didn't even want medicine. Like, I wanted, because I was in that phase of grief that I felt like it was all my fault, and I felt like I needed to feel the pain. And so, like, he would literally cry because he's like, I want to help you, like, I want you to not be in pain, like, please take this medicine. And I'm in the other mindset of, like, I don't want to take anything. I want to feel this pain. I want to, you know, basically be mad at myself during this time. Yeah, it was hard.
Yeah. But
I really am grateful that, like, God was able to be with us in that first, like, he was with us the entire time, of course, but being able to show us, like, our baby, you know, with a heartbeat still. And because we didn't get to experience that yet, we didn't have an ultrasound before that. Being able to see that at first and being able to see the heartbeat, I think that was a blessing, because I feel like a lot of people don't get that. It's not, it's not talked about as much, but there are so many women that have miscarriages before even finding out that they were actually pregnant, or when they did find out they were pregnant, they would miscarry before their first appointment, like, what happened to me. And I feel like God was able to give that to us, and I'm so thankful. But he also gave us each other to support each other. And he also gave us, such a loving and embracing family and friends to be able to just pray over us. And like, I've had countless text messages that they're just like, you don't have to answer me, but just know that I'm here for you. And that's all that I needed, because I didn't want to talk to anyone, but in those moments it was really good to feel as if I had someone, and I had so many people in my corner praying for not just me, but for Derek as well, because he needed it just as much as I did. And I'm just so grateful and so thankful for everyone that was able to be there for us during that time.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I feel the same way.
Yeah. Anything else?
No, it's good. You covered it. You got it.
Well, I definitely want to go more into life after the miscarriage, and want to go more into depth of like the grief and the process that we went through. And so it was only going to be a 2-part series, but I feel like grief and time passing deserves a little bit more attention than I was wanting to give it. And so I will be doing a part 3. I don't know if I'm going to do it right away. I think I want to sit on it and really think it through before making a video about it, because it's really emotional. But I really do appreciate everyone who's been praying for us. We appreciate everyone praying for us. We appreciate all the love, all the support, and just thank you for watching this video. Thank you for supporting, and like always, like, comment, share, and subscribe, and we will be back. We out.